What up guys, the Fighting Therapist here, and for today's video we're going to talk about the shoulder. Please don't forget to click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you did enjoy the video, give it a thumbs up, give it a like. I want my video to get as much exposure as possible to help you guys out as much as possible. So shoulders, one of the most important joints in the human body, where so many ligaments, attachments, muscular attachments, and energy and flow and brachial plexuses and everything passes.
That you had.
And it's probably the one that I've seen have a lot of issues in fighters, especially because we're always in this rounded shoulder position. Jiu-jitsu athletes, wrestlers, we're always in this position. Hockey players on the floor, tennis players, a lot of sports, biking, cyclists, right? A lot of these positions that we put ourselves in are in this like rounded positions. Then a lot of the times all these athletes, or just think of if we put them in the context of desk workers, you guys are at your table, typing away, all stressed, studying, you know, how much school fucked you up.
Watch your profanity.
Like big time, you know, you just like all day, you know, texting, all those influencers now, oh, I wonder what, Yet we don't know how to open that thoracic cavity, roll our shoulders back, get the musculature in the back, so rotate our shoulder blades back, and then we're also not aligned with our head. We're really stuck in this position. Monster. If you don't strengthen it properly, you are going to get injuries. If you don't take care of it, you can get shoulder impingements. If you just don't make this a priority in life for average individuals, and if you don't make this a priority in athletes, if you don't make it a priority in rehabbing it, pre-habbing it, taking care of it, gaining range of motion, gaining flexibility, allowing proper movement throughout the joints, allowing to be able to move that joint at different angles, we're gonna start getting injured, we're gonna start getting some impingements, and it might cost you some money. It might just cost you, you know, goals at the end of the day, because you're not gonna be able to train because you're injured. You know what I mean? So this is gonna be a long video, or I might cut it short depending how long it takes. First, I want you guys to understand the shoulder itself and why it's so important. Did you know that there's 17 muscles that attach to your scapula? 17 muscles! Bruh, are you kidding me? So when we're talking about training these muscles, releasing some, getting some stronger, this is the stability guide. This is important. We're gonna dive in today with just some exercises. This is gonna be a multiple part video. Today, I think I'm gonna explain this, how it works, how it functions, and then I'm going to cut into a little series of exercises like part 1, part 2, part 3. There's a lot of them that you guys can utilize to work on your external rotators. That's the problem, and that's why I want to make today's video. We don't know how to open, we don't know how to strengthen the muscles that are gonna put our scapula in a proper position to allow us to do motions, especially when it comes to overhead motions. We need those scapulars to come in on an angle like this. A lot of the times we're either winging because certain muscles aren't working, which is mainly serratus anterior, while they're up on an angle because the upper traps are working too much. Maybe we're getting a lot of pull on the lats, right? A lot of things are gonna displace the scaps, and when the scaps are not in a proper position, they don't glide properly on the rib cage, which is what we're gonna go through today. We have our anterior view on the left side, and we have our posterior view on the right side. Okay, so everything that's in green is pretty much just like explaining like joint, right? So you have your glenohumeral joint here, right? So where the humerus attaches to the scapula. Here we have their AC joints, so a lot of the times when you guys fall on the side of your shoulder and you hurt your ligament, that's your AC joint right there. We have a couple of ligaments, your transverse ligament, that are going here. We have the coracoid process, which is on your scapula. That attaches your pec minor, also your coracobrachialis, my apologies. We have our clavicle here, which is attached to our sternum, so our SC joint. These black lines are pretty much the rib, right? Because the ribs kind of like wrap around. So that's what the ribs are. And that's where the serratus anterior comes. So So the serratus anterior kind of wraps, or so if I'm in a posterior view, like on this side, it would wrap around, and the attachments are actually on the inside of the scapula, so you can't really see that much. And then because this is a front view, right? So if I cut a human like straight down the middle and you guys just look straight at the scapula, you're gonna have your subscapularis right there. And that's pretty much what's going on. Then on the back view, right? So this is looking at someone in the back. What we're gonna do, picture that this is like a multiple layer thing, right? So we're gonna take the first layer off, which is like your fascia, your lats, your traps, that's all off. And then under that, you're gonna have your rhomboids. You're gonna have major and minor, right? So rhomboid, major is lower, minor is up here. You're gonna have your levator scap, right? Which pretty much just lifts and rotates. Then you're gonna have your supraspin, your infraspin. This is the spine of the scap. So this is where you get a lot of the deltoid attachments, okay? Then right here, we're gonna have teres minor, teres major, okay? And then we're also gonna have like the lats down here. Then you have the humerus, right? Like the bone itself. Then if I were to stick all the muscles back, you're gonna have upper traps, mid traps, low traps. Then you're gonna have like the lats that kind of cover and go through and then attach around onto the humerus, okay? The most important thing to understand here is that this scapula is going to be placed on the rib cage here. So it can go up, it can come down, it can rotate, it can angle, and it can angle. And all the musculatures that are attached here are gonna affect that. So being strong in positions to allow your scapula to move and to get that range of motion is what we want. Yet when we're working at the tables, we're decreasing the strength of our external rotators, which I put right down there for you guys to kind of make it as simple as possible. So I wrote them all down. I'm gonna zoom in right here. So the external rotators that you guys have is a group of muscles. You have your supraspin, your infraspin, your subscapularis, and your teres minor, right? So if we look at the diagram, infraspin, right? Teres minor up here, supraspin right here, and subscapularis was on that side, on the inside. So all of these muscles are gonna externally rotate the shoulder, right? So anything that revolves around this, doing external rotation. So any external rotation, those are what those muscles are focused on, and that's what we call them the rotator cuff, right? So any muscle that kind of does that, where your teres major and like your pec are gonna do a lot of internal rotation stuff. But yet we're typically stronger on this because we do a lot of motions that cross and go into internal rotation. It's the external rotation that we don't spend enough time on. And this is why I'm trying to make it of such importance, is for you guys to understand how instabilities and weaknesses in other musculatures are gonna affect the position of your scapula, and in the end affect the secondary injuries that are gonna occur from that, from impingements, right? I'm repeating myself all the time, but I want you guys to understand why it's so important. So for the first exercise, it's gonna be a simple sideline laying external rotation. What I like about this exercise is that you really get to focus on your external rotators. Now, if you were to do this standing, I see a lot of people in the gym holding a plate like this and just doing this. Now, you're wasting your freaking time and you're not actually working your external rotators. When you hold the weight here, gravity is going downwards. So if you're doing this, you're pretty much not doing anything. But you see guys in the gym going, oh yeah, it's good for the shoulders, bro. You know, it's a warm up.
It doesn't matter what you think.
Yeah, well, so is doing this with no weight at all. All right, you know, or just bigger hugs. That would be a better dynamic warm up to actually release everything. If you're gonna do the exercise to actually activate the muscle and work on it, you know, when I lay down on the side, gravity will be placed downwards. So you're gonna have the weight fighting against gravity. And that's the whole purpose of weight training, is to do it against gravity, not in a different plane with gravity, right? So no bueno. So simple, lay down, external rotators. You don't need a heavy weight here. Start with 2.5, work your way up to 5. Play with the other modalities you can in training. Play with maybe going up, coming down slow, eccentric. Play with coming up concentrically slow, holding it for a couple seconds, isometric, come back down. Play with these variables within the prehab and rehab, okay? Next exercise is gonna be a standing external rotation band. Now, unlike the weighted version, the band is actually giving a resistance in the opposite direction. So this is why we want to utilize this exercise. Why I like this so much is because we can take this one exercise, play with the different modalities, and then just also get a lot stronger. I find this is a great one to start with when you just hurt yourself, when you just injured yourself, just slightly going into that external rotation, right? Just with a band like you see me doing in the video here. Then what you can also do is come out, walk out, so we're isometrically holding it and then eccentrically coming in. It's a great way to load the exercise with the same elastic band you're using, but we're just changing something within the exercise to make it that much harder. Now we're going half kneeling, serratus anterior activated range of motion, right? So usually what happens, the serratus anterior, I don't know if you can see my arm, serratus anterior does this, protraction, retraction. This is my shoulder blades. I want to be able to come back, come forward. This is serratus anterior. A lot of times people don't have that and they have like a winging going on. I really hope I'm doing it on screen. I have no idea. I'm gonna have to watch later. They have a winging in the shoulder blade that's going on. Yet if we were able to contract that muscle properly, we would have it nice in place, like so. Right? This is what we want. Alrighty. So, cool. So the half kneeling position, we're able to activate and retract our muscle. So we're nice and stable. We're nice in the press state. Then we're gonna row backwards and then we're gonna externally rotate. So you see on my arm right now, my wrist isn't cheating. I'm not trying to come back. A lot of times when you have the band, because you don't have the range of motion, you're gonna cheat at the wrist. And what helps with the half kneeling is you're able to really contract the core, put yourself in a better position and not cheat, right? If we're with the band, sometimes our body cheats. Here, that external rotation motion, we're keeping everything locked down. So we're not trying to extend, right? The body, like I've told you guys many, many times, it's great at cheating. It's great at doing something that needs to be done because you're asking your body to do it, and then find synergistic muscles and find different areas in the body that it can utilize to complete that range of motion, let's say. So working on range of motion and performing these exercises on a day-to-day basis is gonna be vastly helpful and important because we're so used to this. So another great exercise, like I said, coming back with the band, up, right? So we're not coming forward, we're nice and back, we're holding it. Same variables apply, play with isometric, play with concentric, play with eccentric. Next exercise, one of my favorites, is going to be an isoscapular retracted face pull. So unlike normal face pulls, where you're going to let your protraction come after, we're going to hold the retracted state, retract and depress. Our arms are going to start in a more internal rotation, right? So thumbs down, and we're going to face pull back. And we're not just face pulling this way, we want to externally rotate as much as possible. Get our elbows out, face pull, squeeze, come back, and we're not coming here. We're going to stay in that iso contracted position, just face pulling. The next exercise is the same one, yet we're gonna activate more of our lower traps, which help pull our scapula down, right? Because the fibers are going this way. So we're trying to contract that muscle, bring our scapula in a more angled position. This is what we want. We're usually like this, we want this, that's what we want. Now with the face pull, we're gonna come up, we're gonna face pull, and then we're gonna drive our hands up over our head. Now, the same exercise, I'm sure you guys have seen it in the gym before, where you do like Y's and T's and W. It's the same thing. This one is a lot harder and it's more sport specific for a lot of individuals, even average people that are doing weightlifting, right? Overhead pressing motions. You're teaching your body how to be in a proper position while you're putting your hand over your head. And this is great for athletes as well. Overhead motions, anything like that. We're teaching the body how to actually contract the right muscles, put that scapular in the best optimal position, can get as much output as possible and not hurt ourselves. Next one is gonna be a standing wall slide. I suggest you guys, I'm not very good at this, okay? I've injured my shoulders before, or actually I've injured this elbow before, which is hard for me to do certain motions. But what I would do, if you can do this properly, the goal here, I'm not doing it properly, but I'm slowly working up to it. And I've actually started further away from the wall, and now I'm slowly, gradually coming closer because I'm gaining more range of motion in my shoulders. I'm pretty good right now, right? I'm like, my external rotation is actually pretty good, but having the ability to do external rotation and also flatten your back, lock down those rib cage, activate your inner core, get the back flat, and wall slide is a very challenging exercise, and it applies the same thing as the face pull, except that now we're in kind of a isometric hold here, really applying the force against the wall and sliding up over our head, keeping that contraction and coming back down. Very hard exercise, and actually a very good chest opener because we're opening up that chest, activating our back and posterior muscles, putting us in a better position. This last one is called Angels and Devils, probably one of the hardest out of the exercises. I have a yoga friend that does this amazingly. She actually puts 2 yoga blocks by her side. She's able to lift up those low traps, that shoulder mobility, come around the yoga blocks and come behind her back. And I'm amazed by that, and that is a goal of mine because it's true strength and range of motion mixed together, and that's what we want. Being able to go into these ranges of motion and have strength in them is going to give you guys the best outcome to not get hurt and to actually get that much stronger in the gym when it comes to your lifts or your sport activities. Like I said, these are just a few of the exercises for your rotator cuffs, for your external rotators, just to help with the posture, open up the chest and strengthen that posterior chain. Guys, I hope this helps. There's gonna be a lot more out coming for this specific topic. So if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. It's your boy, That's It Zach. Punch, headbutt, elbow, knee,